Hello friends, we're Lucy McConnell and Erica Penrod. We're authors and your hosts here at Angels Unscripted. This season, we're shifting gears and starting a new journey. We don't have it all figured out. We're writing and talking as we go. And we're inviting you into the stories behind the stories. We hope you'll come with us. This is season 3. Welcome to the ride. Hi, and welcome back to Angels Unscripted. I am your host, Lucy McConnell, here with my dear friend and co-host, Erica Penrod. It's so great to be back again today.
It is good to be back.
I love this place. I love this podcast. So
yeah, we've had a little break.
Yeah.
Changing seasons.
Yes.
So yeah, and I've been on vacation and then came home with a cold, and
I know.
So I sound
last
a little scratchy.
Season, I had so much illness, and Erica was so good working with me through it. I was like, I'm sick again. And she's like, it's okay. And she just rolled with everything. So when she told me she was sick this time, I was like, I'm rolling. We're good.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally fine.
I know, you make all these plans and then sometimes things just happen and you're like, okay, let's roll with it.
That goes so well with our theme this season of change and rolling with things.
Yeah.
Because you make plans and then they get derailed. So yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about, we had planned season 3. So we did Angels.
We had it so planned out. It was beautiful.
Did Angels with Christmas, and then we did Cupids with season 2.
Yep.
And season 3 we were going to a ranch. Like that's what we were doing, and following the same. What would it be like? The same format as we had in the previous books.
Books, yes.
During this time, when you're talking about when you were sick, I had attended a conference, the writing conference, and you didn't get to go.
No, because
you were
down.
sick.
Yeah.
But while I was there, I went to a class, and as I'm sitting there, I'm feeling this inspiration, like this prompting of like, this is going to look different than what you thought. Like Angels, like this season 3, like the ranch idea. Yeah. It's different.
It's
like you
you
want to take it in a different direction. And so when I came home and talked to you about it, you were kind of like, I have been feeling the same way. Yeah.
I know, which is so interesting to me that the two of us had the same feeling separately.
Right.
Which is an amazing witness that this is the way and what we're supposed to do.
Right.
But really it was just this sense of there's a change. Yeah. There was not like there's something we're supposed to discover and do differently than what we were doing before. And so it wasn't like we were handed on this silver platter. No. Here's your idea. Go. It's been a discovery. Yeah. It's been a process of discovery.
Well, I think like what we're always wanting to do is we always want to give our readers what they want. Like we're always wanting to put books out there that we are proud of, but also that we know people are looking for. Yeah. And so I think that was part of the journey, is like, okay, what do we think people are looking for right now? Yeah. And also, what can we give readers that we feel we have an authentic voice with?
Well, see, I think that's part of why the change felt like it needed to happen, is because it's one of those things where it's like, if God gives you a certain gift and you don't share it, you lose it. Right? And so we both have a unique voice in this area or in this arena of romance writing. I didn't even plan to do that. Because of our backgrounds and where we come from. And so as we're being drawn to that authenticity and to the authentic parts of ourselves, it's wonderful to write about other places and to go there and experience them and write. And I'm not going to stop doing that. I love that. That's a part of me too. Yeah. But I think this one just really, really deep down in our hearts it needed to come from that place that is so much us. Yes, that it needs that, and so that's why I think last time at the very end we were like, we don't want to give up the cowboy thing. We were pretty well set on sticking with the cowboy thing. I think we should talk for a minute about why that's authentic for us.
Okay.
if you don't mind. Like,
yeah. Okay. And so we're talking about this change, and we knew we were going to go like more cowboy, more ranch.
Yeah.
But I know for me, like the first books that I published were a cowboy reality romance series, and I had
it's such a great series,
and I had a cutter, and I had a saddle bronc rider, or no, maybe it was a bareback rider. I can't remember. Bareback, and then a rodeo clown. Like, but it was this real authentic like events and things that were happening,
that
and
you
I
were
felt
in, like
yes, because my family is gone to the rodeo every weekend, and it was something that I felt passionate about. And so the idea of taking the ranch and going back to our roots of like, I feel like because of my family and because of like our lives and traveling and working with the horses and competing, I want to bring that into my books. And I feel like that is something that maybe I can give that maybe sets us apart from other authors that write Western romance. I mean, I know there's a lot of other really great Western romance authors who also live it.
And, living it. Yes.
And so, but going back and really going back to my roots of, I love writing this stuff and giving readers the chance to go maybe into a world that they are not super familiar with.
Or that they only see from the stands.
Right.
Like to get that behind the scenes look at how things are run.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
huge.
It started there.
And the life that has to support that 8 seconds in the arena, or the 2 minutes for the event, or the one rope that's thrown. Yeah. Like everything that builds up to that moment is so huge.
Yes.
And so
and it's more than just like, it's not like it's a hobby.
No. It is a life.
So much more than that. And so I love the idea of writing this.
Yeah.
Like creating this world where people can come. And are we announcing what it's called?
I think not yet.
Not yet, maybe.
Well, okay, so we're struggling. Yeah. We've had a struggle with the name for the series because we want it to be a brand, like a country brand. So
a Western brand.
So, for example, I grew up on a dairy farm, and my grandpa's dairy farm was called Dayland Dairy, and it is no longer in existence right now, because obviously my grandpa's passed on, and the farm was sold. So, but I also wanted something that resembled that too, that kind of harkened back to his. He had a brand for his dairy. And so anyway, but we talked about so every name we've come up with has already been taken. Has
already been used, yes.
Because somebody's got a brand out there on a ranch with all of these names. Right. So we're struggling with the full name of the ranch and getting a logo. So I hope that we'll have that figured out all by next week and we can announce it here. And that would be fabulous if we could just be like, hey, we found our brand. But yeah, so I mean, it is like seriously hours. Like we were at the library the other day for 3 hours, and I think all 3 of those hours were spent researching brands, brand names, and trying to get the right feel for it because there are things we know that we want.
Because we're building this from the brand up.
We
really thought this is where we start.
Yeah.
So it's so critical that we make it the name and the brand
fit everything because everything harkens back to that. And so if we get that right, then building the rest of everything else will work really well. So some of the things that we have discussed that we want this brand to represent is all the different kinds of cowboys. So ranch cowboys, rodeo cowboys, farm cowboys, cattle cowboys, crop cowboys. There are so many types of cowboys and country life out there that
there's so many aspects of
it's huge.
Living in the Western culture.
And then there's the agri entertainment, like with corn mazes and all that kind of, there's like a whole other level there that is country. And so we want something that all of that, because our world or our town that we're building is going to be a rural community. And so it's going to have elements of all of those things in it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, even just in the community that we live in, we have dairy farmers, we have orchard owners, we have rodeo kids, we have 4-H'ers, we have, I'm trying to think what else, we have cattle ranchers, and then we also put on several rodeos a year, plus several ropings a year as a town. Right. We have a roping club. We have, I mean, this is just in our town.
Our small
little town here. And so there's so many different, and then we have people who just farm. And then we have people who I don't want to say just farm because just farming is a lot of work, but
I think that's part of the process too, is like we were just talking before we started with this series. Is it just ranch cowboys?
Right. We had that conversation.
Is it just cowboys? And for me, and the stories that are starting to form in my mind, it's going to be very authentic cowboy because that's what I know.
Right.
And so I feel like I want to really lean into that.
Yeah.
And for you have a little bit different background with the farming part of it that I don't. I mean, we raise alfalfa, but it's not as big as like doing a dairy farm.
Dairy farm.
Yeah. Things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what we end up with.
And how it shakes out.
Yes. Because right now we're just like trying to get our feet under us. And
trying to build it from the ground up. We're starting from scratch, and it's a whole thing. That doesn't mean that we are leaving angels completely out of it.
No.
There's going to be some form of an angelic element, and that also is something we've got to discuss and figure out how that's going to work, because I don't think it's going to work the same way it has in the past.
Right.
I think we're going to need to reevaluate and revamp, but I would also I would like it to not completely stray. Does that make sense? I want the Angel Institute, I want this series to not match, but nod to or shake hands with the stuff that we've already done.
Or it's a natural expression of it. It's a natural growth.
Thank you. That's a branch. It's a branch of the tree.
So it's like with anything in our lives. When change happens, you kind of look at yourself and you're like, okay, this is working for me. This isn't working for me. And I love this part, and I want to carry this thing with me into my next, whatever that looks like. So I think that's what we're going to do, is take the beautiful parts of Angel Institute and that feeling of connection, of generational connection, of like
people who have already done this and been here.
And there's influence in our lives. We might not see it, but it's felt there. And it's there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we want to carry into this next series.
Okay. Bring that angel forward some way.
That feeling of connection between, like, there's so much more than just us.
Yeah. And it means more. There's
and I especially like with ranching families, you're talking like generations
on the
of
same
ranchers.
land.
Yeah. Land is going to be. I think that's probably. I think that's probably going to be one of the biggest changes. Is where before, we were in the cute town of Benton Falls, and the town was important, it was fun, and it was more
not
like
horses. Did I say horses? They had houses and apartments.
Yeah. So with going back to the idea of ranching and cowboys, the land is going to play a bigger role in this series.
Yeah, and I will attest to the fact that when you grow up with a farm, that land means something to you.
Yes,
exactly. I still go back to where my grandpa's dairy farm was. It was sold to a home developer, and they put homes all over it, but they left the tree that was probably 8,000 years old that was in my grandparents' front yard, in the front yard of one of the homes that they built.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I drive past and I know that tree, and I swear the tree knows me. But the fact that dirt is there, that was dirt that I grew up on, and that I played on, and we irrigated and all the things, that means something. I walk through there and I can still see in my mind's eye my grandpa's farm on that space, and it's like I can erase all the houses that are there, and I see what it was, and it still resonates in my soul.
Yeah.
And so there is something about land.
So I think that's going to be a big part of it. And I think about my ancestors on my mom's side, the McIntyres. They actually came from Texas. They part of, and I need to go back and remember the details, but the gist of the story was they served under Samuel Houston.
Okay.
And after they were done with that, he gave them cattle, and they drove the cattle from Texas to Utah.
Wow.
To Leamington.
I don't
This
even know where
tiny
that
little
is.
town. And they started the McIntyre Ranch.
Wow.
So like my roots, my ranching roots go way back.
Yeah.
And then from there, they also developed a mine.
Wow.
And so it was like, yeah, there's a lot of history and story at that. So I feel like I'm excited to really write about those things that are like deep in my heart and are probably generational that I don't even recognize sometimes. That desire for land and horses and just, you know, it's like I have several friends, a lot of people in my life that are not into the Western cowboys and cowgirls and horses. And
you meaning they don't live it, or they just aren't interested? Like, both. Okay.
And you can't, it's hard explaining it to them.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, like, it's so much more than a hobby.
Oh my gosh.
It's just life.
It's life is what I said. It is life. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to just
I'm like,
go back to that.
Well, and I think about, Shotgun, our bulldogging horse, he got hooked on a fence or bitten by another horse. We don't know what exactly.
Yeah.
And if you don't have cattle and horses and things, you don't know that they just get hurt and you have no idea why.
Or how. Like you try to, like, it's like you baby proof your stall or anything, and they still find a way
to get hurt. Like I have no, like we've had them, they go to roll and scratch and they roll into the fence and then their legs are tangled in the fence and you're like, are you a dork? Like, what? Did you not see the fence there? It's been there this whole time. Things like that happen. And so anyway, we went out and he had, his cheek had been torn here and then had a pocket, and it was just this massive, and then the pocket, because he likes to roll, was full of springtime mud, dirt, manure, like, you know. And so I'm out there with my 18-year-old son, and I'm sticking my finger in his cheek and I'm cleaning all this stuff out, and I have gloves on, thank you, but still I'm like just doctoring this animal in what other people would be, oh my gosh, like, but this is just a regular Tuesday at the farm. Like, this is what we do. We take care of these kinds of things. And so when I say it's a life, it's a life. You don't have the luxury of freaking out. When things happen, you get very chill about a lot of stuff. And then my son cut his finger off, like a good chunk of his finger off. And I was like, it's just part of the day. And then we're helping him do that kind of stuff. And it's like, you know, well, people are like, did you take him for stitches? I'm like, there was nothing to stitch together. It was get it to stop bleeding, clot. And it grew back beautifully. His thumb is amazing. The horse looks gorgeous. Like, you can't even tell. If I could take whatever healing chemical is in horses and inject it in humans, we would be amazing. Like, seriously, because they heal so fast and they don't scar. There's no scar tissue. Amazing. You can't, like, the hair all grows back in and everything. You would have no clue that he had even been through that.
That's incredible.
I know, that's just how, I mean, that's life. It's life. And so, so that's, but I want to get all of that in.
Sorry.
I know, sorry.
Like, we're going to have to.
We'll wrap it up.
Wrap it up. How many edits can you do?
Quite a few, actually. Okay. But I haven't had to do a lot before. But no. So I think getting all of that in there. I also think in the stories obviously we're gonna have love. Yeah. Like, that's gonna be a thing.
But let's talk about what we've decided to call these. What genre?
Oh,
for us.
I actually really love this term.
I know.
I think it's the most fabulous term. Epic Western.
Yeah.
They're going to be
Western romance.
Western romances.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I love that word too. I think that's what we both felt so good about. Was that word.
Bringing it so strongly forward that this has to be an epic.
Yeah, and I'm crying about it a little bit. But wait, it's my my
cough.
cold.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So in order to make that happen, they have to have love, they have to have grudges, they have to have betrayals, they have to have generational things that happen, ripples, money, versus no money, power struggles, land struggles, water rights struggles, like all the things. Mysteries.
Yes.
There has to be questions about what happened either in the past or what happened, you know, and maybe even murder.
Yeah. I just I'm so excited to build this world. It's just going to be an extension of Angel Institute, and we're going cowboy.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
It's going to be so fun.
It's going to be so much fun. Thank you so much for joining us as we've talked about this. Next week, we'll be back with another episode, and we're going to do some world building is what we decided. We've got to get this world going.
We're going to take you with us as we create this series. We're going to take you with us and talk about how we do it, how we build it.
If you're following along and you're going to do the same thing, like you're using this as an example, start this week with your brand or your series and what you want it to be, and then get those general ideas of what you want in your books or in your series, what you want it to be, and then come up with a term such as epic Western to use to describe it, so that as everything you're doing, you're going to look back at those phrases and that brand, and it's going to have to reflect that. So if you have a chapter that is not an epic Western chapter, or whatever you decide to call yours, then you've got to go back and rework that chapter until it becomes what you've been wanting to build. So,
and I think just a little twist on that for our viewers that are not authors, you can kind of look at your own life like that. You can kind of brand your life like,
well, what do you want your life to be?
And if this doesn't fit in that, it's gone, and or take the good parts. And so it's
if you're writing your own story, because we all are.
Everyone's writing their own story,
and we're deciding what we want our lives to be. Every minute of every day, we make choices that lead to those, to the decisions to be what we want our life to be. So,
cool. I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Okay. Well, we will see you next week. Thank you for joining us, and subscribe, do all those things to help this channel be found, and happy building.